Russia routed how Putin's legendary paratroopers have been obliterated by hero Ukrainians as Russia's tin-pot army crumbles. Vladimir Putin's elite paratroopers have faced massacre on the battlefield amid Russia's bungled invasion of Ukraine, experts have claimed. The tyrant unleashed his legendary elite forces into Ukraine 3 weeks ago, believing he could seize control of Kyiv within 48 hours. But far from capitulating, Ukraine's hero defenders have crushed Russia's invading forces, forcing a raging Putin to resort to the merciless bombing of civilians. Amid Russia's botched battle for Hostomel airfield about 30 miles outside the capital Kyiv, one of Putin's top generals, Major General Andrei Sukhovetsky, was among paratroopers shot dead in a major blow to the Kremlin's war plan to annihilate Ukraine. And Georgy Dudorov, the elite paratrooper son of one of Putin's KGB pals, was shot by artillery while performing a combat mission, amid reports from U.S. intelligence that the Russian army has lost some 30,000 soldiers since the war began, including hundreds of paratroopers. Taras Kuzio, an associate research fellow at the Henry Jackson Society, says dozens of Russian paratroopers were killed in their doomed bid to take Hostomel airport. They, the paratroopers, are sent ahead of the main troops to secure a location so that the main forces can be brought up, he told The Sun Online. In this war, they were flown into Hostomel airport near Kyiv to do this but were all killed. 2 transport aircraft of paratroopers flying from Belarus to do the same tactic at another airport near Kyiv were shot out of the sky. 300 paratroopers were killed in the 2 transport aircraft. The swift takedown of Putin's paratroopers bungled the initial part of Putin's invasion, said Kuzio. He added, Putin's nationalism dismisses the existence of Ukraine and Ukrainians, and he claimed and believed Ukrainians would greet them as liberators. Ukrainians did not welcome Russian forces anywhere. Ukrainian forces met the Russian army not with flowers, but with Turkish drones, American Stingers and Javelins, and British laws. Dr. Patrick Berry, senior lecturer in security at the University of Bath and a former air assault infantry captain, says Putin's plan to seize control of Kyiv in a matter of days was crushed by stiff Ukrainian resistance. He told The Sun Online, from my experience, it looks like the plan was for a relatively small number of paratroops to land by helicopter to conduct a surprise landing at Hostomel airport to secure the airport. More VDV forces in air transports would then have been rapidly landed at the airport and made their way into Kyiv to seize Zelensky quickly and capture Kyiv by a coup de main, ending the war on day 2 or 3. They didn't figure on the stiff Ukrainian resistance, which appears to have managed to destroy the runway before being eventually beaten off. In another failed paratrooper attack, Ukrainian soldiers and local volunteers in the strategic town on Voznesensk defeated Russian troops in a 2-day battle as Putin's soldiers fought to seize control. Faced with fierce resistance from Ukrainian defenders, Putin's soldiers were forced to retreat more than 40 miles, leaving behind almost 30 of their 43 vehicles including tanks and rocket launchers, reports the Wall Street Journal. According to local officials, 10 Russian troops were captured while around a further 100 were killed. Should Putin's troops have taken the southern town, it would have given them a gateway to the South Ukraine nuclear power plant and a path to attack Odessa from the rear. Meanwhile, in a further testament to Ukraine's unwavering resistance, a Russian general's call was intercepted and, after geolocating the phone, Ukrainians attacked his location, killing him and his staff, reports the New York Times. Designed to intimidate rather than fight, the so-called elite force has only been properly used as paratroopers just twice since World War II, in Hungary in 1956 and in Czechoslovakia 1968. Dr. Berry says the Russian paratroopers are used as an intimidation force as they have a reputation for aggression. The Russians pioneered the use of paratroops in the 1930s and their airborne forces, known as the VDV, are held in very high esteem in Russia. There's even a Blue Beret Day where drunken current and former paratroopers jump in fountains and pick fights, he said. And the reason they are allowed to do so is important. In modern Russia, they are not only respected for their military skills but also feared due to their size and reputation for aggression. So they have a dual purpose in modern Russia, airborne forces and also a military intimidation force that can be used to quickly repress uprisings, etc. He believes Putin's use of his paratroopers shows he believed Ukraine would surrender easily. The plan was based on faulty FSB intelligence that the Ukrainians would not resist, and conceived as a clean and quick war that would be over in days, Dr. Berry added. The VDV were central to that op plan, but it hasn't worked out for them. But Putin's growing frustration at the failure of his plan has seemingly led to escalating violence across Ukraine, with relentless shelling raining down as thousands of families flee their homes. Russia's troops have blasted the capital region as well as other major cities as they attempt to crush the Ukrainian defense that has stalled their progress for almost 3 weeks. Mr. Kuzio said, bombardments by 1,000 missiles fired from inside Russia at civilian targets Ukraine in an attempt at terrorizing the civilian population so they pressure the president to surrender. On the other hand, Russian forces are making no advances anywhere. And Putin's goal of regime change and installation of a pro-Russian puppet has failed and is no longer being pursued by the Kremlin. On Wednesday, a 12-story apartment building in central Kyiv erupted into flames after being hit by shrapnel, with the top floor obliterated as plumes of smoke filled the sky above. Fighting around the capital has intensified as Russian troops attempt to cut off transportation links and destroy logistical capabilities. And in the besieged city of Mariupol, where an estimated 2,300 citizens have been killed in the area amid relentless shelling, a theater said to be sheltering up to 1,200 terrified people has been bombed. But Putin's forces are continuing to be mauled by Ukrainian defenders as Kyiv's forces say they have killed more than 13,500 of the invaders. Moscow has seen generals killed, pilots blasted out of the sky, tanks ambushed, and videos of sobbing soldiers after surrendering to the Ukrainians.